Hello everyone. In my previous video, I talked about why do we need rock physics and its application to quantitative seismic reservoir characterization. Today, I will discuss about rock physics rules of thumb, a relationship between seismic and rock properties. First, I will give some introduction what it means by rock physics rules of thumb and relationship between seismic and rock properties. When seismic waves travel through a reservoir rock, the velocities of seismic waves will be affected by several reservoir rock properties like porosity, lithology, geofluids, temperature, and pressure. So, rock physics rules of thumb means what possible impact each rock property will have on seismic wave velocities, or how seismic waves will affect by each parameter when they travel through different geological layers or a reservoir rock. Rocks are extremely complicated and their seismic properties depend largely on a combination of connectivity and elasticity and density of what is connected. As a result, many rules of thumb can be explained by such combinations. Here we go. Factors influencing the seismic properties of sedimentary rocks have been classified into three categories. These are rock properties, fluid properties, and environment. I will discuss each of these categories in a very detail that how seismic properties are affected by these factors. In this video, I will talk only about rock properties and the rest of categories like fluid properties, environment will be discussed in next videos. The rock properties about I am going to talk today are compaction, consolidation, age, cementation, texture, bulk density, clay content, anisotropy, porosity, lithology, pore shape, etc. This is really important point that needs to keep in memory before starting this discussion. Each factors will be assessed independently here, assuming others are constant. But in reality, many of these factors interact and have simultaneous effects on seismic and elastic properties. It simply means that when seismic waves travel through rocks, these are affected by several factors simultaneously. Some factors have more impact as compared to others, and therefore those factors that have less impact are overlooked by those who have more effects. But here we will not consider the impact of all the parameters, but we just will assess how seismic waves are affected by each parameter if others are constant. Rock physics rules of thumb, relationship between seismic versus rock properties. First, I will discuss top four factors. These are compaction, consolidation, rock age, cementation, and density together. Compaction and consolidation increases with depth. Similarly, in a normal succession, older rocks are always below the younger rock. Density in general also increases with depth. And seismic velocities also increases with depth. It means compaction, consolidation, age, bulk density all increases with depth and seismic velocities also increases with depth. Cemented rocks have higher seismic properties. I will sum it up as more compact, more consolidated, older, and more denser rocks have high seismic velocities. Despite of these, many low velocity layers may also encountered in the subsurface. The reason is as I already tried to explain that several factors have simultaneous effects on seismic parameters. So it may possible, for example, if high porous and permeable soft gas sand layer, we can also call it a low velocity layer is embedded in a compact shell. One more interesting fact about bulk density is that density increases with depth and velocities also increases with depth, but mathematically both are inversely proportional to each other. It means bulk and shear modulus have more control on seismic velocities than density. See the equations. In these equations, P wave velocity is directly linked with bulk modulus and shear modulus. But here in second equation, Vs, S wave velocity is directly linked with shear modulus. But both velocities are inversely proportional to the bulk density. An example that support these equations is anhydrate. Anhydrate has higher bulk density but lower velocities. But there is another equation. I think yes, Gardner's classical equation. See what it says. P wave velocity is directly proportional to density. The next is porosity. Remember, porosity is always inversely related to seismic velocities. The example from real data are shown in the next slide. I will discuss porosity velocity relationships in more depth when we will talk about rock physics empirical relationships. In the figure, in the above figure, P and S wave velocities and density are plotted along with depth. Despite of low velocity layers, just we can see this is a low velocity layer here. Despite of low velocity layer, overall seismic velocities and density are increases with depth. In the second figure, porosity is plotted against various elastic and seismic parameters, and we can see there is inverse relationship with porosity and between porosity and seismic and elastic parameters. As porosity increases, all the parameters decreases. In this slide, I will talk about clay content and lithology. The rule is very simple. P wave velocity depends more on bulk modulus, while S wave velocity depends more on shear modulus or rigidity, as shown in these equations here. So the rocks or lithologies have higher bulk modulus or rigidity, have higher seismic velocities. Therefore, for example, clay or shelly rocks have lower bulk modulus than sandstone having minerals like quartz, feldspar, or mica, and limestone having minerals calcite or dolomite. The effect of clays on seismic properties depends further on the position of clay particles in the rock and on the clay type. If the clays are a part of rock matrix and if the clays are more compressible than quartz, velocity and impedance will decrease as clay content increases. I have given a table in the next slide showing few minerals along with their moduli values. The figure on right hand side shows how seismic properties varies when clay content increases in sandstone rocks. Seismic parameters decreases with clay content. VP or VS ratio is considered a good lithology indicator. As an example, I have given few minerals along with their bulk and shear moduli. These are taken from Mavko et al. 2009, a well-known rock physics handbook. We can see sandstone and limestone minerals have higher moduli as compared to clay minerals. Therefore, we can say the seismic velocities in sandstone and in limestone will be higher as compared to clay rocks. The next is pore shape and texture. Apart from clay volume, pore shape also extends a dominant effect on P wave velocity, yet it is hardest to quantify. Some authors like Kuster and Texos in his paper 1974, I think, believes that seismic properties of a rock are more affected by the pore shape than by porosity. In general, rocks with flat pores have lower seismic properties. More rounded pores where pore aspect ratio approaches 1 instigate further increase in P wave velocity. It is because flat pores are much more compressible than spherical or rounded pores. So how we can define as aspect ratio? Aspect ratio is the ratio of pore size to pore throat size. And pore throats connects pores into regular network. Pore shape difference is the major cause of scatter in velocity porosity plots. Elastic moduli also increases with aspect ratio as shown in the figure on a right hand side. The next is texture. It includes grain size, sorting, roundness, etc. In general, sands with larger grain size and sands with poorly sorted grains have high seismic properties due to better contacts and lower porosity. Sands with angular grains have lower seismic properties but higher VP over VS ratio compared with sands composed of spherical grains. The next is fracture. Fracture causes seismic properties to decrease. Compressional properties are affected much more by fractures compared to shear properties when the waves are polarized across the fractures. Waves polarized perpendicular to a fracture have low VP or VS ratio. Aligned fracture also cause seismic anisotropy. And the fractures reduce the P wave and S wave velocities and produce an effective attenuation of coherent component of seismic waves. The last and one of the most important rock property is anisotropy. It may be intrinsic or induced, and mostly shales have intrinsic anisotropy. Intrinsic anisotropy is structural in nature and is commonly seen as transverse isotropy TI or VTI, vertical transverse isotropy, in which properties differ in the vertical or horizontal planes, such as in shales or thinly bedded intervals. Stress-induced anisotropy is also known as azimuthal anisotropy or HTI, horizontal transverse isotropy, in which acoustic parameters in a vertical borehole vary with azimuthal orientation, such as the case of fractures parallel to the borehole. Different types of anisotropy are shown in the figure. I mean vertical, azimuthal, and both VTI and HTI anisotropies. Older consolidated shales usually have higher degree of seismic anisotropy. Stress anisotropy is the major cause of induced anisotropy. Most reservoir rocks can be approximated being intrinsically isotropic unless they are finely layered. See another figure, how seismic waves varies in an anisotropic shale. The compressional and shear velocities are measured at different propagation directions at different angles, maybe around, I think, 81 degree, 45, and then 9 to the symmetry axis. And we can see uh, about 20% and 15% anisotropy in the P wave velocity and S wave velocity respectively. Again, I have write this sentence here. Each factor is assessed independently here, assuming others are constant. In reality, many of these factors interact. I hope you have remembered it throughout the e-lecture, throughout this e-lecture. For more detail, have a look on reference paper mentioned here. In my next video, I will talk about rock physics, rules of thumb, relationship between seismic and fluid properties. How fluids like brine, gas, oil, gas hydrate, etc. in a reservoir rock affect seismic properties. If you have a question, just write in the comments. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. I hope to see you again with more helpful videos very soon. Take care. Bye bye.